Third place went to Cindy Eshelman, and second place to Nathan Tran. And first place to Emily Spearman. Let's get a picture here of everybody. Congratulations to all of them.
So, what are you going to do with your major? What are you going to do when you graduate? What are you going to do for a living? I don't know about you all, but I really hate it when people ask me those sorts of questions. But who here in this chapel hasn't heard at least one of those delightful little queries at some point in their lives? College is a time of transition, of change, of self-discovery. So why is it that we're expected to know right now what we'll be doing for the next 40 or 50 years? I know that I personally have changed so much in the 2 short years since I've been at Hastings. And who knows how much more I will change by the time I graduate. Our plans can change radically over the course of 4 years. God might call us to something we never expected. That was certainly the case with Samuel. He was just a young man, serving in the temple, living in a time when the narrative tells us visions were not widespread. So I don't think that he expected to have this amazing experience with the divine. And yet it happened, at the most unexpected time. I mean, think about it. The guy's just getting ready for bed, and then, bam, voice of Yahweh. Just like that, Samuel gets a direct message from God. I used to be really envious of Samuel in this story. I mean, why don't I get to have divine epiphany like his? Why haven't I had some big moment of revelation in which God verbally communicates with me and lets me know what God's plan for my life is? Sure, I've sensed that God is calling me to do something, but some details would be nice. I even settled for just a little sign that would let me know that I'm at least on the right path. Because right now, it feels like I'm receiving a really important cell phone call, but I'm stuck somewhere with really bad reception. Some people undergo life-changing experiences that set them on their paths. And for those of us with the bad reception, the whole thing seems a little unfair. But I think it bears considering that Samuel really didn't have the best reception either. After all, it took him 3 tries before he finally figured out who was actually calling him. And he didn't come to this realization on his own either. It was only with the wisdom and guidance of Eli that Samuel was able to recognize that the call was coming from a divine source. Just like Samuel, it can take some time before we can realize that God is calling us. And we too must rely on our friends and mentors who can point us in the right direction. Furthermore, Samuel didn't get a precise roadmap for his future either. True, God set him on his path as a prophet, but God did not tell him exactly what he would be doing 10 years down the road. God is not some divine puppet master, plotting out every twist and turn in a person's life. Rather, I believe that God has an ideal plan for an individual, and that God is constantly whispering to us and prompting us. It is up to us as to whether or not we will follow that plan. Although I have found that when you're really called to something, you will not be truly content until you answer that call. I had known throughout most of my freshman year that I needed to be pursuing religion as a course of study. But instead of doing so, I chose to stick with something that felt safe, something that I really liked and felt certain I could do. But that little whispering voice of God just remained in the back of my mind, and I couldn't ignore it any longer. The day I finally became a religion major, I experienced a sense of indescribable joy, which sounds silly, but you can ask any of my friends. I was bouncing off the walls and grinning like an idiot all day. It's pretty great. And it sounds silly, but when we finally recognize what we are being called to in life, how can we keep from smiling? The discernment process is far from over. I still don't know what exactly I'll be doing with my life. But honestly, who really does? We may think that we know, but nothing is set in stone. Right now, you may know exactly what you want to do. Or you might be feeling a nudge in a particular direction. Or you might have no idea whatsoever. And it's okay, in any case. It can take a while to hear the call. And it might take even longer to get to a place in your life where the reception is good. But I believe that everyone here will eventually find what is right for their lives, if they haven't already. What you do when you sense God whispering to you is completely your decision. You can choose whether or not to take the call. You can choose to respond to God. You can choose to say, "Speak, for your servant is listening."